Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to demystify a really core tech skill, building your very own virtual server step by step. Have you ever felt like setting up your own server was some kind of dark art reserved only for IT wizards? Well, the good news is, with the tools we have today, it is way more accessible than you might think. So let's just break it all down. We're going to use virtualization to build a complete, self-contained server right here on your own computer. And I'm going to walk you through the entire process, from planning the foundation all the way to locking the digital doors.
Okay, let's get into phase one, laying the foundation. Because it's just like building a house. If you want something that's going to be stable and reliable, you have to start with a solid base.
So the very first thing we need is something called a hypervisor. You can think of it as the construction manager for our virtual world. It's the software that carves out a little piece of your computer's resources and lets us build our server right on top of it. Now listen, do not skip this checklist. I'm serious. These 3 simple checks can prevent probably 90% of the most common setup failures. Before you even download a single file, make sure CPU virtualization is enabled in your BIOS and that your hardware is compatible with your chosen OS. Trust me, it's going to save you a world of headaches. All right, let's talk about allocating your resources. Think of this as creating a performance budget for your server. For a basic web server, 2 virtual CPUs, 2 gigs of RAM, and about 25 gigs of disk space, that's a really solid starting point. It gives the operating system enough power to run smoothly without totally overwhelming your host computer. Okay, so our foundation is all planned out. Now it's time to actually raise the walls and install the brains of this whole operation, the operating system. This process is pretty much a universal blueprint for installing an operating system, whether it's on a physical machine or a virtual one like this. You'll boot from an installation file, you'll make some basic choices about your language and location, and then you're going to hit a really crucial decision point: disk partitioning.
So this is a big one, choosing how to partition your virtual disk. Think of it like deciding the floor plan for your server. Now, while manual partitioning gives you total control, one wrong move could leave you with a system that won't boot or has weirdly allocated space. For your first build, the guided option is absolutely the way to go. It's safe, it's efficient, and it gets the job done perfectly.
Okay, pro tip time. Near the end of the installation, you'll get a chance to pre-install some key software. Here's my advice. Always select Open SSH Server. This little tool lets you securely log into and manage your server right from your main computer's terminal. It's pretty much a non-negotiable for efficient server management. So our server's house is built, but it's not connected to any roads yet. And a server that can't talk to the outside world isn't very useful, is it? So our next job is to get it connected. Fortunately, most hypervisors make this really simple by defaulting to a network mode called NAT. Just think of NAT as a secure one-way gate. It lets your virtual machine access the internet, but it blocks unsolicited traffic from coming in. It's security and connectivity, all rolled into one. As you can see, the data path is super straightforward. Your VM connects through your host PC to the internet. This means you can start downloading updates and software right away with zero complex network configuration. It just works. Okay, before we open for business, we have to lock the doors. We've got to talk about security, and this is not something you add on at the end. It's a fundamental part of the build process itself. This is such a critical mindset to have. Security starts on day one, not after something has already gone wrong. The moment your server goes online, you need to assume it's a target. So what are those first steps? Your very first actions after logging in should be these 4 security fundamentals. First, configure the firewall. Second, run all the system updates. This patches known vulnerabilities, the kind of flaws that let ransomware attacks spread. Third, use a strong password. And finally, apply the principle of least privilege. Think of it this way. You give your house sitter a key to the front door, not the master key to every room, the safe, and the car. Never give a user account more power than it absolutely needs to do its job. And understanding user roles is key to that last point. The root user is all-powerful. It can do anything, including accidentally destroying the entire system. You should avoid using it for daily tasks. Instead, use an admin account. It has elevated privileges when you need them, but it keeps you safe the rest of the time.
And with that, the initial construction is complete. You have a stable, connected, and secured virtual server. So, let's do a quick recap of the blueprint.
Remember these core principles. They're what elevates your build from just a fragile experiment to a truly robust server. Plan your resources, use guided partitioning for a safe setup, stick with simple networking at first, and make security your first priority, not an afterthought. You now have the foundational knowledge to spin up your own virtual environments anytime you want, whether that's to test software, host a website, or just to explore. The only question left is, what will you build with it? Thanks for watching.